Which will.
It's fine, I'm just worried about like.
Especially like.
The notices, I mean,
Please enter the meeting
Yes,
passcode followed by the pound sign.
Basically, they get. But it's basically money for Friday night.
yeah,
You are in the meeting.
Okay, folks, we're gonna get started. Some of the committee activities extending over, but we have a quorum, so we will begin. Don't forget to silence your gadgets. We definitely can start our meeting now since Adolph is here. And right, and we'll begin as we always do with a invocation by Commissioner Volrath this time and a pledge this time by Commissioner Ott. If you wish to join, please rise.
Bow your head in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the opportunities it has to offer. Please be with us and guide our hearts and our minds as we come together today to make decisions that affect us all. We may always support one another as we continue to search for the most meaningful ways to serve you and our neighbors. Lord, we thank you for your presence here today and pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Everyone join me to pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bell, Curry,
Here.
Freeling. Present. Harrison.
Here.
Hinkleman. Ott. Pitchford. Tyler. Here. Borath. Werfel. Yarborough. Elliott.
Here. All right, minutes from a week ago need to be approved. Moved by Freeling, supported by Ott. Any conversation about the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, have we communications?
We have two communications, one from the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. Read final proposal, Digital Inclusion Week, and other updates. Email was received October 2nd. Visit Southwest Michigan, fresh ways to go on a date this fall. Email received 10/6.
Okay, thank you. We're now at the point where we'll have public comments limited to the resolutions on the calendar. It's the consent calendar. There are no added resolutions, I don't think. No, so it's just the 7 or 8 there on the first page of the agenda. If you have anything to say about the resolutions, this is your time. Hearing no comments, I haven't been told about anyone wanting to pull a resolution. So is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as submitted?
I move.
Moved by Pitchford, is there support? Supported by Volrath. Any discussion about the consent calendar resolutions? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank Brian and the road department working out this airport issue out on Euclid for the winter. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right,
This is a quick follow-up, that's her.
sure.
To Commissioner Werfel, you brought this to our attention. We appreciate it. Chris Britton has advocated on behalf of Benton Heights. We appreciate his input. And then lastly, Shannon Christie, the former director for the airport, was really, really helpful in getting this thing pulled together. It's taken a little bit of time, but I think this should be a good tool. So thank you. Yep.
All right, with that, if there aren't any other comments, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Bell,
Yes.
Curry,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Pitchford,
Yes.
Tyler. Yes. Borath.
Yes.
Werfel.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes. If you turn your hymnal to page 39, we are going to do committee reports. And the first one on the list is administration.
Thank you, Matt. First in to see us was the sheriff and undersheriff, and Dave would like to report out on that.
I would like to thank Chuck and Craig for coming in to see us this morning. In the month of August, September complaints worked with 1,577. That totals about 50-some a day. They have over 420 calls. It's done with 500 some a day, so they are very busy. Medical services, they saw 532 inmates and assessed 513 of those. Served over 31,500 meals.
Thank you, Dave. Next in to see us was the road department, and Alex would like to report out on that.
So Mark came in and filled us in on the road department operations for October or through October. The hot mix asphalt pothole patching is still continuing, and he believes those operations, the plants will remain open probably till the first or second week of November. The mowing and the brush clearing is continuing. The shoulder cutting and deberming is occurring, and what that, mostly in the subdivision areas, and what that means is if you drive along the road and you see that the side of the road is a little higher than the roadway, that holds the water, so they are going and clearing those out so that the water can run off. He talked a little bit about the transportation package, which is roughly around 1.7 billion in funding for the county roads. And it's estimated that the county agencies are expected to receive about 460 million more in funding as compared to what it was in 2023 through 24. And of course, that's through the fuel tax swap, the whole marijuana tax, the corporate income tax, and a loss of 600 million to be redirected from the income tax. He hit on that. I'm not.
Yeah, so this is just breaking down where the other funds are coming from. I'm not sure what that is in reference to. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
we'll have to get with Mark and get an email on that. And then they had some print, the training, which the biennial department focuses on safety matters. And let's see here, the Cleveland Avenue Snow Road to Glendora trench work and widening is beginning, started on the 6th of October. Of course, that Riddle Highway project in my district is continuing. We've got the one with the roads construction project, and they're waiting on AEP for that to relocate some power lines. And the resurfacing projects are continuing throughout the county, and that was pretty much it. He said everything's on track.
Thank you, Alex. The only thing I would add to that, Brian, is we asked Mark to, with this funding, keep us in the loop because he didn't know. We know the revenue is going to start being collected January 1st, but as far as, you know, payments after that, frequency, how much, we just asked Mark to keep us in the loop, and that once you have a determination as to how much revenue and when, give us a plan. How do you plan on, and the intent of the law? Because the intent right now, my understanding is the state legislature wants to take care of local roads without a township match, that this is supposed to be something separate, but I don't think that's totally been clarified yet. So we just ask that we be kept in the loop, and when there is a plan, let us know what the plan is.
Understood, sir. Well, as I noted in committee of the whole, I've given them clear instructions that for now, you've got to treat this as one time, apply it to fund balance, and then actively communicate with the parent committee on what the plan is. Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mark reiterated some of the same things you said this morning, that, you know, you infuse this much money into roads through the whole state. There are still only so many road builders. You can only do so many miles in a year, that he's afraid the cost is going to go up, because these road builders are going to know that everybody's pretty much vying with their dollars. So there's a lot of things that I guess the road department and you are going to look at through this process, but hopefully it'll be for the good. Okay. We have one resolution for you the next time we get together, and this is for Lincoln Charter Township requesting a TAP grant. TAP grant have to go through the road department, so that is what they are requesting. And it's for a non-motorized trail, 3/10 of a mile along Marquette Woods Road, to Hidden Pines Drive. So we okayed that, and that'll be coming before the board. And that is our report.
Any questions for admin? All right, then next on the list is finance ready?
Yes.
Madam Chair of Finance, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Our Administrator, Brian Doucette, and our Director of many things, Dan Fetty, talked to us today about the Schwark drain. This is, we are in receipt of, or maybe not receipt of, but there was a resolution unanimously passed at the Three Oaks Committee at their regular meeting. And so we're in negotiations and working on being able to sell through the work of Brian Savage, a Realtor, has been working on this for 3 years already. We just last week renewed it until hopefully something would happen, and it did. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so members of the board, next week, the Finance Committee will receive a resolution to authorize the sale of the Schwark Drain property to an outside buyer. This is the 36 acres of property that you all agreed to take ownership of. It's property that the prior drain commissioner had worked for a number of years to try and get redeveloped and sold. In the October of 2024, Board of Commissioners authorized a resolution to take title to that and to pay off the remaining debt on it. So roughly $550,000 was invested to pay off the debt. You all control the title, you all control the listing. The Realtor working on behalf of the board has a buy-sell agreement. It will be considered next week by the Finance Committee with a corresponding resolution to move it to the full board. I would anticipate in 2 weeks, this full board will be asked to consider the potential sale of the property. Between now and then, corporate counsel will be working with the listing agent to get a finalized buy-sell agreement that meets his expectations on behalf of the board, and hopefully some good news to come. As Commissioner Yarborough mentioned, we did at the staff level requested the Village of Three Oaks to consider a statement of support for proceeding with the sale of the property. The village took action last night to authorize their president to sign a letter saying to this Board of Commissioners, yes, they support the sale and they encourage that you all proceed. What I'll be working to do is bundling up the resolution, the letter of support from Three Oaks, and then a final version of the buy-sell agreement that will flow to Finance Committee next week. And then assuming they agree, it will then come to the full board in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Madam, does that address any questions?
Yes, and that gives them a chance to, with our attorney and their attorneys, or however they'll do it, to all agree. Hopefully 2 weeks. If need be, we can go a bit further, whatever is needed to make it happen. And there are many people that have done a great deal of work with this, and to it is at a lower price, lesser price, but to see it go at a rate that it is within is a blessing.
Pardon me,
Yes.
ma'am, you have a question over here.
Yes.
I have, with the buyer, do you know if it'll require a zoning change?
It's on here. Is this it with the Green Development Ventures? That's the name of the company.
So, Thaddeus, do you want to chime in on anything related to planning zoning questions?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so this is, yeah. So this is something that has come up in the past. A portion of the property is zoned for commercial. The rest of the property is zoned for single family residential. So yes, that is something that the village ultimately will have to consider. However, we have worked for the past year to ensure that the village is keenly aware of how we're marketing. The village is aware of what interest there is and the village is aware of the details of this proposed buy-sell agreement. So to answer your question, yes, I believe a small amount of rezoning will have to be considered. The village will also have to consider, do they have adequate capacity for water sewer connections? And then lastly, assuming this materializes into a development agreement, the village will then also be asked to consider support for a potential brownfield plan. So quite a bit of involvement still from the local unit. You're welcome.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. And then, our next person was, George McManus, Drain Commissioner. He gave us the assessment rolls for 2025. And I said, who assesses them? Well, he goes around and he looks at the drains. The most of them that he looked at were the smaller, but, the county total, can I read this little bit of blue? Yeah. Sure. The county total is 900, let me look at this. Yes, $987,290.88 is the county. It equals 559,100, I'm sorry, yes, $559,109.54. And with the Berrien County Road Department, it's $428,180.64. The street drains are $365,716.56. And work orders issued for maintenance was 682. And if is this on the computer or copies can be given to the other members? And if he didn't know where the drains were, he knows where they definitely are now. And so a lot of great work has been done and good information. Then Captain Rocky Adams came and talked with us. They're working on something with the computer and still again, getting everything connected and in order. And because of the number, we didn't understand it. And Captain Rocky Adams came in to explain to us. And so they'll, what they decided is to work with the top 3 companies that does this work, connection, and choose from that. And then I told them, I asked them, they need to know better to say how much money they have to spend, because the reason we question it is because the number was 20,000, but the bill was
There were bids that came in at
$1 million
1.5
something dollars. So we need to let them know what our budget is and how much, then they tell us how much we can do to move this system, because we do need it. I'd like to say with the Schwartz Drain and all, Dan Fetty has worked on it, and just a number of people, our attorney, and again, that is good, that's going to happen. I think we thought it was something was going on in 2007. No, 2000, whenever COVID came, COVID stopped a lot of things and made people turn around.
Great recession.
I can't think of whatever those numbers, you all know the date. I'm trying to see what else. Oh, and then we asked also that the road department come and talk to us about a road bid. Again, something that was what we learned today is that it is not the road department's duty or business to do what they want it done in a neighborhood. It's Maple
Court. Coloma Township.
Yeah, because water is coming up in people's yards and driveways and all, but that's not what the road department does. And last week, what we read was that whatever the amount was, the community would take care of it, but they've decided not to do that. So we had an explanation from him. We signed the bills for the road department and our other bills, and it's always, everything is getting to look like a book. The, accepted the minutes, and I'm trying to see if they're, oh, and Jake Lideker, our finance director, came and talked with us about the budget. Do you want to talk about the budget? And I'll tell his stuff.
Yeah, so Jake just provided a quick snapshot, a one-page memo that I will send out to the full board, just talking about efforts to review the overall budget. He does acknowledge that with the state just now getting their budget over the finish line, there still is some scrambling to understand what will truly be the impact on revenue sharing, on public safety trust fund, on roads, on and on. Right now, Jake and Doug are upstairs talking about the prosecutor funding that the state has made available and what strings are attached to that. So Jake provided that update, still working to close the budget gap. We are targeting a meeting for the week of the 20th. However,
What, you found out something?
however, we've got three commissioners that'll be at Southwest Michigan Planning on the 21st. So before you all leave today, I just need to figure out when I can get the bulk of you here the week of the 20th. So more to come on that.
Good. Okay, and so he gave us some numbers and you all have a copy of it,
Yes.
of our fund balance and a number of things that we will discuss and hear about on the week of the 20th. And then we had no bids this week, but we did have 5 waivers, and is it all regarding?
2 were
Yes,
911 for your building.
911 and the juvenile center. Do you want to hear the vendor names and
I don't
Okay.
think it's needed.
we're fixing things, and a lot has to do with the infrastructure, or I guess you call it, with the hot water heater and the boiler plant controller. We need a new roof on the juvenile center.
Yep.
And so these things are necessary, and we're doing the waivers so that we can work with companies that know our equipment, and they're the ones that probably put it in. I believe that is all that I know. Do you have something else?
No, but I would clarify that Coloma Township did not take action on Maple Court as of yet. But that is 100% their decision
Right,
of what they will or won't do, which is what you had already reported.
yeah,
There's no action taken by the township yet.
that's my report.
Questions for finance? All right, then, Mr. Chair of Personnel and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met this morning, had a number of action items to consider. First was a advanced step hire request for the health department. This is the clinical and community health nurse manager. This is a replacement for Donna Payne. And so we did approve that request. We had, we reviewed and approved the pension refunds and rollovers. We do that on a monthly basis. Had the Register of Deeds in to talk about the software contract to extend basically the service he has now. So we did review that and approve that, and it's in the form of a resolution. And we also had Guy Miller in to talk about the pregnancy prevention grant that was submitted and now has received funding from the state of Michigan Health Department, and this is targeting pregnancies in Niles and Benton Harbor. We also reviewed the per diem list for the County Board of Administrators or County Board of Commissioners. So we had a lengthy discussion regarding the juvenile center, number of issues that were talked about. One, the number of open beds. Two, the staffing of the, not just the acute area, the secure area, but non-secure. That we continue our interest in the criteria for the positions in hiring to fill vacancies. Also, the assessment tool being used by the juvenile center, and then the status of our director for the juvenile center. So we're waiting on some additional information about all of those topics. We had sadly, I think you're all aware, with the passing of Dr. Ken Edwards, well, we need to identify a physician to serve on the health board. That's according to our criteria, our bylaws. And so in the meantime, and I think more than likely will be permanent, Dr. Johansson, who is the former medical director for the health department, has expressed interest. And so by consensus, we said if he were to fill that position, either short-term or permanently, we'd be very much supporting that. And then I've got a couple appointments that we're proposing to you. And so I can make those at this time. We've got 2 vacancies as a result of resignations on the Mental Health Authority. And so we're recommending the appointment of Rachel Wade and also Cynthia Gray, both to fill a vacancy expiring in March 31st of 2026. And I would move those appointments, Mr. Chair.
Is there support? So moved by Harrison, supported by Pritchard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so then Rachel Wade and Cynthia Gray are appointed effective today. Fill vacancies that run through the end of March next year. Ma'am.
Did we have something you were not able to accept last week because there were only 2 others? Clerk, we did do that. It was the people with the election. That was 2 weeks.
Alex had to run
Okay.
out for a family matter, but once he came back, we had a quorum.
Okay.
So we were able to
Yes.
do the canvass.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we also had a rather lengthy report from Guy Miller, our head of the health department. So that would conclude my report.
Questions for PHS? Okay, and we've done the board appointments, commissioner reports, we'll go clockwise.
Demoted, I know. So I actually felt busy this week. I actually had multiple meetings. One was with the Pokagon Band for distribution. We did the checks and the signatures, and those will be going out at our next meeting Tuesday of next week. And then we attended the, I guess for a better term, emergency meeting for the Mental Health Authority to discuss the SWIMBA going away and the possible replacement of my plan, which I will let Commissioner Bell give you the report on because he's much more elegant about that.
I don't know if I'm more elegant, but yes, last night we had a special meeting at Riverwood, and the purpose of that meeting was because SWIMBA's current bid for the region is technically ineligible for the new bids that are going out for the PIHP. So we needed a resolution to give our CEO, Rick Compton, the authority to seek after that bid with SWIMBA. And also the My Plan was in support of that this new rebid process. But we also discussed where we are with the lawsuit to grant injunction to kind of stop this rebid process. And today, I believe the judge is supposed to decide on whether they will grant that preliminary injunction. And we've kind of discussed what our strategy is going to be if they grant it or if they don't grant it. And then we also discussed some pending litigation involving Riverwood. But yeah, that kind of concludes our meeting that we had.
We have a question over here, ma'am.
Yes, how much did you get? How much was the check from the casino? And has it been going up? Has it been going down?
I
or what?
didn't get any.
You can't
I was
say it.
disappointed.
I mean, you're not supposed
But
to.
you mean the distribution checks?
Yes,
Oh, they're all different numbers.
I only want to know ours.
For the county?
Yes.
I did not see a check in there for the county, so that might be something they will deal with
Don't we get a check?
Tuesday.
You do, and I will work with the finance department to just send out an email on,
A number of them, they do it quarterly or?
yes. Yes, the casino, I'm sorry, the tribe does pay an annual contribution to the county. I'll get you a breakdown of that number.
Yeah, because
I
that
will.
one I did
Yeah,
not
that's the
see.
number I haven't heard in a long time, or not known. And it came to me. Thank you.
Ray, if you're done, we'll, Shilkway.
No report other than Brownfield Authority today at 12:30.
I attended the Michigan County's annual conference along with Commissioner Werfel and Commissioner Ballrath. And on Tuesday, we started with the crisis intervention teams and mental health, which I know the sheriff's been involved with some partnership with law enforcement and mental health advocates. Then on Wednesday, we had a different kind of career undercover in the CIA, which was very interesting. He asked Ed if anybody was a spy at the meeting, and if you were a spy, you wouldn't really even say. But he was very intriguing. He has a few books out about his time there. And then I attended a workshop which was how AI can power your county. And it was interesting in my committee, what they said to make sure all counties should look at their clause in their insurance policy regarding AI. So we have MERS, so I attended MERS both in the networking section, and they said we do not have a clause at this time in MERS. Right now, Van Buren County has AI, they call him Marty. Also, there was a discussion using AI in 911, and a couple of the counties said they began to work in it and they backed out regarding liability and issues there. So that was very interesting. Then we had an update on the impact of Medicaid changes. And then after that, I attended another workshop regarding data centers anyway. What are data centers anyway? And there was a lady who, they started a business in Kent County called Switch. And the workshop meeting got very intense by the time we got done. And right now, AI companies are totally different than they were in the past. They use more water, more electricity. Well, Switch is kind of like an incubator for others who need that AI needs, not just one data center. But I guess on the east side of the state, there is another AI, and they're having environmental issues with the water. And they were very concerned, a lot of counties, regarding if we have a power grid issue, will they turn off or will they not? And Switch said, yes, they'll turn off, but will they lose all that data or not? And it got a little heated before the end of that whole program, which I wasn't expecting that. I thought this was going to be the normal AI, but there's a lot of questions and concerns as you move forward into the AI world, even when I was listening regarding the 911. After that, leading with a better memory. I'm not sure if I got a better memory. I was overloaded afterwards. The gentleman who was our speaker, he started off asking for 5 bills, and one of the county commissioners read off the serial numbers. By the time we were done with the speech, he could recite them all back and forth, and very interesting. I may have a little bit memory increase, but I'm not totally sure on that one. And then we had a legislative update and regarding the budget, and as we see today, that totally changed from basically that legislative update. And then we returned home. Oh, also, I attended the Niles Township ribbon cutting. Commissioner Curran was there. I looked at their saw their expansion and renovations. And the chief deputy clerk gave me a tour of the addition, what they're using for elections. They will be consolidating all their precincts into that new expansion area, which will be really great for the clerk in Niles Township, not having to haul the equipment to about 6 different precincts now, a very secure spot. Again, I'll be attending the Brownfield Authority with my fellow commissioners.
And you won't be here next week, right?
I will not be here next week.
Okay,
That's my report.
okay.
And mine.
I had a meeting of the Human Services Council on last Friday.
I attended MAC, as Sharon said, that the best speaker was that CIA spy, and he had to come out. Normally, he said, we don't come out of hiding, so to speak, because you take it to the grave. But he came out of hiding because he went to work for Texas A&M, and you can't be a former spy if you're working in education. So anyway, it was interesting. All of his speech that was the best one. One I did attend, one of the breakouts I attended was on Who Owns Michigan. I gave Brian some information this morning. That was mostly on rental properties within the state. And with all the rental properties that we're getting through these brownfields, it was very fascinating. A couple of stats that she gave on the whole state of Michigan. She didn't get into individual counties, but 53% of Michigan is currently owned by the owner of the property or by the person that resides on the property. 10% is corporate owned, 29% is rental, but not corporate owned, and 5% is out of state ownership for the entire state. And the most concentrated, of course, in Michigan is in college towns of rental properties. So, but yeah, I gave Brian the information, see if we can get it just on our county and where we fall in that. Also, as you know, I did run for the Region 3 seat. I was not elected. It was a 7-6 vote, so it was very close. The person that did get elected was not reelected as a county commissioner.
Past president.
Yeah, he was the past president. He was not reelected 2 years ago, so he fell off of the MAC board. It was inserted was the person from Allegan. I don't remember his name, but he's the Allegan commissioner that passed away during reelection a year ago. And so this person had 1 year left on his MAC term when he got reelected last year, and he was reelected to the board. He will serve for 1 year. The position is open again next year. So we'll actually have 2 positions in the Region 3 open next year at the board. So I don't know if I'll run or not. Again, that's irrelevant at this time. What was that? I don't know. I don't know. It was interesting, but anyway, it was all good and fun. Director Hertel was a keynote speaker one of the days, and she took a ton of heat regarding this PIHP process. So in fact, she was basically reading off the teleprompter, so she did not go off script when people started asking her questions regarding the lawsuit. So it was quite heated and quite interesting. And she left, you think, immediately. She did not stick around for any conversations. I was actually surprised she was keynote speaker. When I did attend that breakout on the PIHPs, they did go into a lot more of that detail of the lawsuit because it was presented by the SWIMBAs and all of that. So that was interesting. Came back Friday morning, had a Connexus board meeting. That was just our regular quarterly meeting. It might have been our annual meeting. So I think we elected the new officers. That afternoon, went right over to the Red Cross, and I am now certified to drive the big ERV. They made me drive it down Stadium Drive. That was crazy. Little white nutsling, but anyway, it was fun. And then Monday attended the St. Joe Township meeting regarding the brownfield process that we'll be talking about at the brownfield meeting today for that new development at the old Berrien Hill site. That's my report. Enough.
Briefly, we did have a BC meeting on Thursday last week. I'm sure that Commissioner Kern recalls that and deferred to me to report out on it, correct? Yes, absolutely. Very quietly, it has sort of been riding under the radar that MyHigh had submitted their final proposal on BEAD funding to the NTIA. And Berrien County had some of those applications that were successful in that bargain of the bid. Did I say that right? There you go, the Bob, benefit of the bargain process. We have about 2,400 locations. If anybody recalls, BC Bit through the work with the DCS Technologies had identified somewhere between 16 to 1,800 that actually still needed to be served for broadband. And so we're working through all of those locations. It does look like the majority of those 1,600 are included in this bid and proposal that went to the NTIA. I'm not gonna necessarily toot and say yay until we hear from NTIA that it's successful. But I'm really excited to see that we're almost over the finish line on this one. And that's a kudos to this entire board for us being proactive and taking this on as an objective. We also had Peninsula Fiber. If anybody wants more information on the MyHigh proposal, you can go to their webpage. It's got a summary of all the counties, all the locations, who the applications were that were awarded tentatively. And you can kind of dive into it if you like to nerd out on that stuff like I do. Peninsula Fiber also attended to give us a brief update on the Lake Michigan crossing that the NTIA had awarded for their middle mile grant. We are coming into year 3 of 5 for that project. Ours is considered route 1 of 3 routes that they had. Construction for our area will start sometime in 2026, but you may have had some folks reaching out to you. You may have seen some postings on social media about rigs that were close to the shoreline that were pulling soil samples. This is all the environmental work that goes in the front end of this, and that's what they've been doing for the last 2 years to make sure that the crossing has the least amount of environmental impact as possible. And so we just had an update on that. They will actually start the underwater portion of the construction in the summer of 2027. And so I think we're taking bids on people that get to ride on that boat, right? It's a pretty crowded boat right now from what I hear, because it is a fascinating process just with what she had shared in her update to us. And so more to come on that. It's exciting because it's actually going to be connecting to the fastest data center in the world, I believe, at least in the United States, in the Americas here, for the Chicagoland area. And so it's going to be connecting straight through here. And it's exciting to know that the possibilities of what that can do for us, for redundancy, for broadband, for residents, but also for all of the community anchor institutions that we have, including this 911, the sheriff, things along that line. So that's my report.
I have no report.
Members of the board, first of all, a reminder to the Finance Committee, on the 23rd of October at 12 p.m., there will be a trust investment meeting that will occur on the 23rd at 12. I'll send out lots of reminders, but that's coming up very soon. Yes, ma'am. To the board, we had been targeting the 21st for a budget workshop. I understand that several of you cannot make it. I was hoping to ask the chair just to throw out a date and see if the bulk of you could make it without asking for formal action. But sir, could we get feedback on the 22nd beginning at 10 a.m.? That would be Wednesday, October 22nd, 10 a.m. And it would be for the bulk of the day.
How's that look for everyone? Done.
Okay, so we will follow up with getting that posted. It will be to the full board committee of the, I'm sorry, a special workshop of the board. And again, 10 a.m. It will run through the bulk of the day. We will make every effort to get you out of here before 5, but there will be a lot to get through.
Are we feeding the crew?
We will make sure that there is lunch provided. We will run it through as a working lunch.
I have time, I'll go to Rise and Roll again. Bring some of the little powdered donuts that are called Amish crack, really? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, they're not called that in the store, I don't think. Okay, all right. So, were you done?
Yes, sir.
We're now at the point we always look forward to, time for the Pelzer Report, also known as public comments. Adolph, you have anything?
Pelzer Hager. So Mr. Ross said something about me making some positive comments. So today I'm going to talk about the weather, okay? Look out there. And the lake. Well, I can't figure out why that water temperature never gets above 70 or 68. I used to go jogging down there, then I'd jump in the lake, and it was about 75. Well, that was my younger days, so maybe I could stand the cold temperature a little bit. But what I'm saying is, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think we can top that. Any other business?
Are we closed Monday?
No, but I think we're open, aren't we,
It's a holiday.
for,
Yes,
what is it, Christopher Columbus? No,
we're open.
We're open, but we aren't meeting on the 30th of this month because that's the 5th Thursday. So that's sort of a holiday for the employees. Okay, we're done. We'll be back at 8:35 Thursday next. Thank you.